Hi again. All right, last time we heard a story from the very first book in the Bible. Now we're going to go a little bit further into the Bible, into the book of 1 Samuel. We're going to talk about David. I think a lot of you have heard about David, and this is a really famous story about David, but it has a good lesson, so we're going to do it again. You ready? All right. Now Saul was the king of Israel, but he didn't obey God. So God was going to give Israel a new king. God told a man named Samuel to visit another man named Jesse. Jesse had 8 sons. God told them that one of Jesse's sons would be the king of Israel. Now Samuel was good and he obeyed God. He went to visit Jesse and his sons. One by one, Samuel met Jesse's sons. God hadn't chosen them. Samuel said, "Did you have any more sons?" Jesse said, "I do. My youngest son, my baby, David, is in the field taking care of sheep." So Jesse sent for David. When David arrived, God said to Samuel, "He's the one." Samuel poured oil on David, on his head, to show that God had chosen David to be the next king. Can you imagine being the youngest brother and being chosen by God to be a king? That's so cool. Now, there was some trouble going on. Saul's army, remember Saul was the king right now, and they were getting ready to fight these people called the Philistines. The Philistines had this really big, awesome fighter, and his name was Goliath. And Goliath was taller than any man that they had ever seen. No one wanted to fight him. They were all afraid of him. Now, David, remember, he was just little. He used to take care of sheep. That's what he did for his dad. But David believed in God. David heard that Goliath was making fun of the Israelites. The Israelites were God's chosen people. And he saw that everyone was too afraid to fight Goliath. So you know what he did? David said, "I'll do it. I'll fight Goliath." Now David didn't even use what the other soldiers used. He went to a stream. He picked up 5 stones. Now what is a little boy gonna do with stones against this big giant of a man? Well, remember, God was with him. He met Goliath with only the stones and a slingshot. "You come to fight with a spear and sword," David said, "but I come to fight in the name of God. God always wins his battles." Now David ran towards Goliath. He slung a rock at Goliath, and the rock hit Goliath right in the forehead. Goliath fell face down. David had killed him. Can you believe that? He didn't need a sword. He didn't need anything. He just needed stones and to trust in God. David didn't look like somebody that could beat a giant, did he? But who did David trust in? He trusted in God. And God gave David the power to overcome this huge giant man. Now Jesus, when he came, people didn't think he looked like someone that could save them either. But we know that when Jesus died and came back to life, he showed that he has the power to rescue all of us from sin. All right, I'm gonna ask you some questions. You ready? This is a good story, so I hope you were listening. Here we go. Now, God used a very ordinary boy. I think there's some boys out there that are listening to this story. And he used a little boy like David to do something amazing. God gave David the power to defeat that huge giant Goliath. Now, do you guys remember the name of Jesse's son that God chose to be the very brand new king of the Israelites? Remember, he's that little guy that used to watch the sheep. That's right, it was David. What was David doing when Samuel came? Uh-oh. I think I told you guys. He was what? Taking care of the sheep. That's right. Do you remember the name of that huge Philistine warrior that everyone was afraid to fight? It's kind of a weird name. His name was Goliath. Very good. What did David use to fight Goliath? Yeah, that's right. He did not use anything that the big people were trying to use. He used a stone and a slingshot. Nice job. Now, David was just a little boy, but who helped him to defeat Goliath? Yep, God did, because David trusted in God, didn't he? So here's the thing, even though you guys are little, if you believe in God, He can help you do amazing things. He can help you to tell other people about God and Jesus and the amazing things they do for us. He can also help you to do things when you don't want to. He can help you, this is hard. Sometimes it's really hard to be kind to our brothers and sisters. But you know what? You can ask God and He will help you. He will help your heart to feel like doing that. God can help us to do anything. All right, so can't wait to hear the amazing things that you do this week when you ask God for help. See you later.